guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review for Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 14, called The Rope, the Feather, and the Bidet. Next week is still not decision week, guys. Decision day. I don't know how much more episodes we got of this, but you know they could save it. They really can save it. We can end it right here. I feel like I say this every season around this time of the season. It's a wrap, guys. It's a wrap. But since they're not done, we not done. So we're going to start off with 17 days until decision day. So Jasmine gives her little video diary letting us know that, you know, she's kind of guarded, has her guards up with Aerys. And I'm like, Jasmine, you don't got to explain nothing to us. We already know this. Okay. Aerys know this. You know this. I know this. America knows this. Like, this is nothing new. Okay. Same situation, different day. We then move on to Nicole and Chris. They install a bidet in their shared apartment, toilet seat, and then they test it out. For me, I'm like, this is 17 days until decision day. So why are you waiting almost 2 weeks before you about to move out anyway to install a bidet in your bathroom? You couldn't do this when y'all first moved into the apartment? So I feel like y'all just trying to figure something out just to get us talking. But at the same time, it's like, it don't even make no sense unless this was filmed when y'all first moved in and they just not showing us now. But I mean, it says 17 days. I don't know what's going on. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going on. But I'm just going to go based off what they showed us on TV. So for this episode, Dr. Pia comes back to visit the couples. So I'm still confused as to whether she's a part-time expert or a full-time expert. Like, she's not choosing who the couples are paired with. Because if she was, it'd probably be a mixture of the same people but with other people in the cast other than who their spouse that they chose for. So I don't know. I guess she's a part-time expert. And then we got Devon Franklin. He's not even no part-time expert. He's like a per diem. But I feel like Dr. P is per diem because I feel like we're only going to see her for this episode tonight, whatever. But okay, so she's visiting the couples. Listen, guys, I'm just like, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, I don't understand why Dr. P is coming on episode 14. I don't understand why Devon Franklin's coming on episode 15. Like, the season's already almost over. So anything you try to give them, advice on how to work out the relationship is really non-existent because it's really going to go in one ear and out the other at this point because we're already so close to decision day. So their mind is pretty much made up. I feel like by the time they reach a month anniversary, whatever, their mind is already made up to what they're going to do on decision day for the most part. So you guys coming in like 1 week or 2 weeks before decision day, it really ain't going to change nothing. That's already been happening. Like, they're establishing their ways, so it's not going to be changing. Maybe if you guys came in the beginning of the season, maybe something would have changed. But at this point, let's just hawk it up to what it is. It ain't nothing going to be with nobody on the season. With nobody. It's going to be 0 out of 5 couples. Mark my words. Anywho, so Gina and Clint are first to visit Dr. Pia. I really don't know why they even still try to act like they really trying to do something. I don't know why the experts really trying to act like they really about to be something. Because they ain't no going to happen. They're friends, okay? They're already established. Okay, listen. We had a little riff-raff in the beginning. You keep talking about you don't like me because I have gingery features. You know, the way she accentuates her lips. And so, at this point, they just said, let bygones be bygones. We're just going to be friends. Like I said, they're just going to ride it out. And then after that, it's going to be it. So, of course, they're talking to Dr. P about their relationship, how, you know, they're friends but not lovers. And Gina says she don't know if the relationship is going to work because Dr. P asked that question, how are you guys going to, continue with the relationship if there's no intimacy? So that's when Gina was like, well, I don't know if it's going to continue because it grosses her out to discuss sexual stuff, intimacy with Clint because she don't see him in that way. And I guess Clint, immediately agrees, saying the same thing. I guess so it doesn't look like it's just her not liking him. So he just want to put in there that, like, he ain't really feeling her like that too. But like I said episodes ago, I feel like he's only saying that just because of the fact that she said multiple times to his face that she ain't really feeling him. So he's like, okay, I'm not feeling you either then. So I don't know why these grown folks are using the word swag. Okay. So Gina, she said, Clinton don't got no swag. Now, when I heard this, I'm like, so we still use this word. This is 2020. We still use the word swag. Swag is not really in my vocabulary on a day-to-day basis. but they still trying to be hip or something. I don't understand. I don't understand this. Did one of your clients say the word swag, Gina? Because I don't really understand why we're using this word. But she said Clint ain't got no type of swag, no nothing. And Clint, of course, he gonna be the one that's disagreeing. And Dr. P suggests that Clint, tries to set the mood in the house with the candles. Because I guess they both say they like when it smells nice, or cologne or candles, vanilla, warm type of scents and stuff. I don't care for warm scents, so y'all can keep that between y'all. But okay. Clint says, well, it might not really set the mood for something more. But Dr. P was like, well, I'm not saying to set the mood. Like, we got to take baby steps to this. So Clint looked like he's down. Gina she was looking like, I mean, I guess we'll do this because you said so. But I mean, nothing is going to come of this. Like, we're just going to just talk and make jokes. But like, I don't want to do nothing with him because his gingery features are a major turnoff, and it grosses her out to talk about anything sex or intimacy related in regards to her and Clint. They please themselves on their own, but she ain't trying to do nothing with them together. She probably envisioning somebody else like McKinley who slid in her DMs, when she'd have her little me time in the room. So there's that. We're gonna move on. Okay, we're gonna get to Jasmine and Aerys. They're next to meet Dr. Pia, and I guess Jasmine calls Aerys out for all the ways he's been making her feel and whatnot. Dr. Pia asks Aerys how does he feel that Jasmine's calling him out. He got the nerve to say he loves it. Jasmine looking confused, and I'm looking confused with her because I'm just like, do you now? So do you like it because you already know, like, okay, it's going to be easier for you to stay no on decision day. So the fact that she's feeling some type of way is like, it'll be easier to let her down because now she's like checking out. So she's not feeling you like that. So it's not going to really, you're not really going to feel as bad or something like, I'm just trying to figure out different ways that he might be thinking about this, as opposed to someone like Dr. Pia thinking like, oh, he loves it. So Jasmine, why don't you continue being more direct with him and letting him know how you feel and being more open and real with him? And Jasmine was like, well, I never really thought that he would like that, but I suppose I can do that and be more open because I have been more closed off and no, Jasmine, listen, Dr. Pia, listen, I know she gonna try to give you the advice, Jasmine, okay? That's what she there to do, to try to help y'all to continue this thing. But I really feel like sometimes you just need someone to come in there and just say, no, this ain't gonna work. Why don't we just hang up the bag now and y'all just be done? Okay, I know we all gonna try to ride until decision day so y'all don't get that $50,000 fine, which I understand is a lot of money for the average Joe, like, us folks here. But at the same time, why don't y'all do like a Gina and Clint and just be cordial and just write it off? Because he be trying to be cordial, or the lack thereof, because he just be looking like he just so monotone. He just let him sit there, just let him sit there, but just be cordial. I feel like she tries to, but at the same time, you can see from her demeanor and the way she responds to things that she just kind of like over it. But no, let's just keep it calm, cool, collective, and then y'all both don't have to get fined like Gina and Clint. And then decision day come, y'all both say no, and that's it. But it's just like I feel like with Jasmine, because of the fact that she was very much here so for the right reason, so it really hurts her that it didn't work out with the person that they chose for her. So it's like she's still trying to go through with it, but you can see that she's very disappointed and, like I said before, checked out and doesn't want to do it. But at the same time, you know what? That's his loss, Jasmine, because you got Shaq at the end of this thing for you. You got Shaq. Because he really ain't feeling his relationship either, which I feel like we about to get to in a second. But, we're going to go back to Gina and Clint because they're going to talk about visiting Dr. Pia and whatnot. And Gina suggests to Clint that he needs a haircut to look more swagged out. Okay, I'm going to need both of y'all. Gina and Clint, both, please, let's expire the word swagged out. Let's remove that from the vocabulary completely from both of you guys, because we don't use that word no more. I don't know the last time I heard someone say swag other than like a swag bag from Pure Romance. So can we stop? Clint, you better not let Gina cut your hair. Listen, you already know I ain't gonna work with her. So if that's what you like, the type of hairstyle you like, Clint, don't let Gina ruin it for you getting with Dominique after the decision day because she about to go to McKinley. She probably just wants you to get a haircut like McKinley got, but no, just leave that for McKinley to do because he's gonna be the one going in Gina's DMs because he thinks she was sexy since day one. So anyway, anything else to say about these two? Probably not. They talk about sex swings. Gina said she might have one, so that's when Clint was like, "Oh, dang, Gina, Gina, who you using a sex swing with?" Huh? Because I really, to be honest, I can't really imagine Gina. Was this something of ex idea and he left it at your house? Because I really don't see Gina be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna get a sex swing," unless you're gonna use it for business purposes with your hair salon, because that's all you talk about. Anyway, we then move on to 16 days until decision day. So Kirsten and Shaq zoom each other because I guess Shaq went to Memphis for like a business trip, and in the clip, Kirsten does seem more interested in what Shaq has to say and missing Shaq and, excited to see him versus Shaq seeing Kirsten. I feel like Shaq was like, oh, yes, this is like what I needed away from Kirsten. But as we find out later, I can see why he was probably a little upset and didn't really want to talk to her like that. But in that moment, I'm like, dang, why does Kirsten seem more interested in Shaq than he does her? But at that moment, I was just like, oh, he's just probably not really feeling her like that, especially with the whole house thing last episode. But, we'll get to that when that scene comes up. Shaq, Kirsten might be a beautiful woman, but Shaq is over it. I feel like he's thinking in his head like, dang, man, I wish I got paired with Jasmine. We all think the same thing and wish the same thing for you, Shaq. But when they get off the Zoom, Kirsten immediately calls him back because she blew him a kiss and he didn't blow her a kiss back. I'm not gonna lie, I've done this multiple times to my husband. I'll say I love you, but then I hear a click and I'm like, oh no, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. So I'll call him right back. I don't care, you at work. So if I say I love you, you better say I love you back. So, I have done this before, Sorry, husband, you don't have no choice, I'm gonna call you back if you don't say I love you back. But I don't know. I don't know with Kirsten, because sometimes I feel like she wants to make it seem like, oh yeah, she's invested in this, but then other times I feel like, no, if you can't be this, it ain't gonna be nothing. So, this might be one of her facade scenes, as Shaq be saying in the after party. So, okay. Well, I'll just let it be for what it is, for what we saw on TV. We then move on to Dr. Pia. She visits Chris and Nicole next, and as they're talking, Nicole, brings up her past relationships because, of course, they're talking about intimacy. So Nicole says she didn't realize and know that she had so many issues until having conversations with Chris. So I feel like she puts a lot of the blame on herself based off what happened to her in past relationships, because she does say she has to take accountability because she allowed them to do the things that they did to her. So even though I can see where you say that and I can agree to a certain extent what you said, Nicole, but at the same time, as Dr. Pia said, that's not necessarily your fault for them being effed up and doing effed up things to you, and you just having a low self-esteem that you allow them to do the things to you. So like, I just feel like you're taking the full accountability and full blame on yourself, but it's not really the full blame, So Nicole appreciated the fact that Dr. Pia went deeper into the conversation than she thought it would go, and Dr. Pia just says for Nicole to stop talking bad about herself and to enjoy her relationship with Chris. And I agree, because essentially I feel like Nicole will be the one that self-sabotages this relationship. Now, my eyes ain't all the way off of Chris either, because in the beginning of this season, I'm just like, I just feel like he got a little bit of manipulative waves. But, since he see that Nicole kind of low-key, high-key crazy, he's like, okay, I'm going to let her take the wheel on this and let her, showcase that, she really the one with the issues, and I just be chilling. But Chris, we did not forget you boo-hoo crying for the dogs. Like, boo-hoo crying for the dogs. Made us actually really thinking somebody got hurt in your family. But you boo-hoo crying for the dogs. Because they couldn't, because you thought you was going to have to leave one or leave both from being in the apartment. And essentially Charlie, Nicole's dog, got sacrificed. So, I'm not, that's not behind. That's not in the past. Okay, because that's still forefront in my mind, Chris. So my eyes ain't off of you. But, Nicole y'all both got issues to work on. Okay, that's it. Okay, but y'all like each other, you know. Well, Nicole loved you since day one before she saw you, but you love her too from what we're gonna see later on in the season. So, you know, just work on yourselves. Go to therapy. That's it. We have 15 days until decision day. Aerys and Jasmine, they cook Hello Fresh. You know, ever since I learned what product placement was last season, I believe. Last season or the season before. That's all I see with this damn show. Hello product placement. Hello Fresh. Thank you. Yeah, I see this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. That's okay. Have I tried HelloFresh? No, I haven't tried HelloFresh, to be honest. I did Blue Apron and Home Chef, but I haven't done HelloFresh. Okay, whatever. They're essentially more or less the same thing. So, okay, you know, they was just chopping up things. I'm like, where's the protein? But then I'm like, oh yeah, Aerys don't eat meat or none of that. So I guess Jasmine don't be eating meat like that either, as much as she would have, because he kept talking about that too. You know, let's not forget that he kept talking about her eating bacon every day on the honeymoon. Anywho, you see how like over this whole cast I am, but we're gonna keep going. So they're doing the Hello Fresh, and we talking about Aerys. He FaceTimed her, Jasmine's sister. Jasmine's sister kept it real with him about what Jasmine needs, and you know nobody wants to be with someone who's gonna not be interested in them and all that stuff. Blah blah blah. And I'm not understanding why Jasmine's family is really having conversation with Aerys, because it's what is it doing really? You know, why is Jasmine's family wasting their time talking with Aerys when he gonna say no on decision day, and Jasmine should say no as well. Like she should have no remorse saying no on decision day. So you know, I feel like her family are very sweet, and you know they trying to get Aerys to come to the light, or so to speak, whatever. But don't waste your time. That was a waste of a FaceTime, sister. That was a waste of a meeting, mama. Like, we don't need to be having no conversation with Aerys, because we already know where this is gonna go. Anywho, uh, the other thing I want to say about this scene was Aerys let it be known, or I guess he let the sister know. The sister told Jasmine that on the wedding day when she was walking down the aisle, remember when he was clapping for her, like, "Oh yes, I got a good one." That wasn't even genuine, because I guess Pastor Cal was telling him like you always got to make her feel wanted and what this and that. So even though when he saw her, I guess he wasn't feeling her since the moment he saw her, he clapped to make her feel good. But Jasmine's just like, but if it's a lie, I mean, what's the point? Which is a valid question, which is a valid thought, Jasmine. But he thinks, you know, okay, since I'm making you feel good, that's that. But it's not gonna correlate well when you're doing that in the beginning, and then the rest is just like, oh, you're not good, you're a 4 at best, giving very much so Kevin Samuel vibes, and yet you're no 12 that you keep saying that Jasmine looks at you as, and I'm sure she don't consider you no 12 no more. She never considered you a 12. It was really a 9, but I'm pretty sure it's more like a 3-4. For me, it would be a -2, because the way you acting, talking about you need the whore to come out of her. No. Now I'm gonna need the sexy to go in you. Okay. Anywho, I'm just like, okay, so you've been fake from the beginning. So you should have really ran with your cousin when she was trying to give you the last minute to get out of the situation, but you wanted to go through with the situation. Probably because you already kind of signed the contract. But technically, you didn't sign the contract to be married to her, so you could have bailed out before it was too late. But no, it was too late, and then look what we have here. I'm not going to say the most hated cast member of the season or of Married at First Sight, because there's so much more before you that done worse. But at the same time, you ain't the most liked either. And you did that upon yourself. I don't care. Y'all want to talk about, the producer showcase. No, I don't care. We can only go based off what the producer show us. So, and for that reason, listen, we don't care for you. But moving on, because I already talked too much about y'all. Dr. Pia gets to sit with Kirsten and Shaq last, and pretty much we get from this conversation that Kirsten likes when Shaq is masculine. So Dr. Pia was like, so do you think he's not masculine in other ways? Or, and Kirsten paused for a very long time. She paused for like 39 days. And she said, yes. And then Dr. P was like, okay, but that was a long pause. So then you know how they do. They go to commercial for dramatic effect, come back from commercial for dramatic effect. And Kirsten explained how her dad was a, very masculine man, a tough guy. So she wants to see those characteristics in her spouse. And Shaq is confused and feels like, he always has to prove himself for Kirsten and that she wants him to be like her dad. Now, I can understand you seeing the good characteristics of, your mother or your father, and you're wanting your spouse to have those same characteristics, but also understand that everybody's different. So even though, your father showed masculinity in a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that someone else can't be masculine, even though they don't portray those masculine types. Because I know what y'all be saying on Twitter, because y'all really, y'all think, let me put this out there, okay? Y'all on Twitter, y'all already said something about Shaq from like the first episode. And I'm like, really? I don't really see that, because you got to think some guys, they are metrosexual, okay? They give like feminine vibes, I guess, but they're not feminine. But at the same time, I feel like just because someone cares how they look doesn't necessarily mean that they're for the opposing team. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I just feel like because Kirsten is just putting so much of a caliber of what her dad is and just wants every other guy to match up to that. But at the same time, every other guy is every other guy. Okay, nobody's going to be like your daddy but your daddy. So it may be good to see some of those characteristics, but to be like your dad, no one's ever going to be like your dad, Kirsten, because they're not your dad. But that's not for me to tell you. That's for you to figure out. I'm surprised you didn't figure it out in all these years that you've been dating. But okay, hopefully you do. Hopefully you have someone to really tell you like it is, because sometimes I feel like these experts really, Dr. Pia, be wanting to tell y'all like it is, but because she on TV and probably the producer's telling her to tone it down, she don't do that. But I feel like sometimes she really want to just be letting y'all know who y'all really are and be saying what y'all need to really work on. But, she's not going to say that. So, anywho, other than that, Shaq's saying because of all these high expectations that Kirsten has for him, it does take a toll on him. And Dr. Pia tells Shaq, he shouldn't have to change who he is. And Kirsten puts her little 2 cents in, saying she doesn't want him to change who he is either. You sure? Because it seems like you only get turned on when he does masculine things, or like Dr. Pierce said, your definition of masculinity of like, being tough or, carrying boxes. So, like I said, Shaq, you just need to go on Jasmine and, let Kirsten figure out what she's going to do and who she's going to be with. Okay? So, anywho, we move on then to Nicole and Chris. They get a package from the experts to enhance their intimacy. So this is the episode that, all the couples get a box from the experts that has like sex toys in it, little activities from them to do. And as they're going through the box, Nicole and Chris seem like they wasn't feeling nothing in the box. So I'm like, okay, it just seems to me that y'all sexual relationship is very much vanilla. No little pizzazz of flavor, Even Nicole said she wished there was more foreplay, but she's just, okay, it is what it is. So you want to spice things up more, but it seems like these things don't work for you. Not saying you have to do those things, but at the same time, if you want to spice it up, just like, I think it was Dr. Pepper who said it, or Dr. P, I don't remember. But you got to go out your comfort zone. So let's try to figure things out going out of the comfort zone instead of staying very vanilla ice cream, okay? Let's put some swirl in it. Let's put some sprinkles. Not even a whip. Whatever. Not warming lubricant. So nothing in the box enticed you. Nothing. Not one thing. Not the warming candles. All right. Whatever. That's y'all sexual relationship. That ain't mine. But I'm just kind of like, so if you want to spice it up, how you supposed to spice it up without wanting no spice? I don't understand. Not really. But, that's their relationship. I'm going to move on. And we then get to Clinton and Gina. Why are we having any type of sexual conversation with them? I don't know. But they have these little paper prompts that they ask each other sexual questions. It was a little awkward. And then they get to the package from the door and exploring with their sensories with a feather and, a brush and a massage type of thing. And I'm just like, oh, this is not going nowhere. This is not making me like, oh, okay, guys. It's really giving like, okay, friends that are really trying to explore their intimacy with each other, knowing good damn well they don't feel nothing for each other. So this scene was really not needed. But after that, they sit down to talk about intimacy and relationship. But I feel like, what's the point when y'all know, we know, the experts know, the producers know that this is just to have a scene so we don't forget about y'all. But we can't forget about y'all because we already know nothing's going to be or come about it. Anywho, moving on, we then get to Shaq and Kirsten. They try the intimacy exercise with Dr. P that Dr. Pia gave them, and they look like they have fun, but then when they go back to lay down and talk, we finally get to see why Shaq was a little upset. So pretty much his thing was, he said, or Kirsten said, the next time that he goes on his little work business trip that she was going to go with him. But then I guess when he told her and he was starting to pack up for his trip, Kirsten then said she had other things to do. She had other plans, so she wasn't going to go with him. So he felt some type of way that she said she was going to go with him, but he didn't. But she didn't go with him. Okay, I can understand you feeling some type of way, but why didn't we say this from the get-go? Like, why are we having these conversations after the fact? Like, after your trip, after you got back and all that stuff. Like, y'all supposed to be having a good time with this little exercise. But because you're feeling some type of way, you feel like now's the time. Like, can we wait till, or when you feel like you have the problem, can we say it right then and there? So that way, when we do get to these exercises, y'all really down for the get down, even though we're going to see next week that y'all really got down for the get down intimately. You know, I'm not saying Shaq's feelings isn't valid. I'm just saying, why are we having these discussions like around the times when we're supposed to be like having fun? Like, why can't we have these conversations in the moment of we feeling those feelings? And I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I do have those problems too. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes being direct in the moment is the best way to get over that little hump. But I feel like we're getting to a lot of little humps. But I just really feel like Shaq just, because of the way Kirsten was treating him on the honeymoon and stuff, I feel like he hasn't fully gotten over that. So he's just going to keep side-eyeing Kirsten, and every little thing that she does that kind of turns him off or whatever, he's still going to just be like, there goes another thing, there goes another thing. So everything that she nitpicked about you, I feel like you're kind of low-key doing the same thing to her. But I don't see this working out anyway, so maybe y'all just trying to figure out how y'all can be on TV for more time, to get to decision. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what it is, guys, but to be honest, I feel like a lot of people come on this show just really to be on TV, to be honest with you. Anywho, does Kristen say anything? I feel like she just tried to breeze past it and try to continue the intimacy, but Shaq was over it. And the producers asked Shaq if he was happy in his marriage, and he said, to say happy is a stretch, but I'm grateful for the marriage. You're only grateful because it's probably going to lead you to be with Jasmine after this. But we get to 13 days until decision day, and the guys go baseball playing, and everyone hits the ball except for Clint. Clint, listen, I'm not even going to be laughing at you because I feel like I would be on the same way, and I wouldn't hit not one ball, to be honest with you. So I understand. You know, all the guys wanted to make, I would be with you right there. I'll try to hit a ball. It'll go right past me. So it's okay, Clint. It's okay. So then, of course, they're going to sit down and talk about their marriages. And we start off with Clint. He says nothing's going on with him and Gina intimately. And it sucks because he's a sexual guy. But it's okay. Don't waste a nut on someone who don't even like you or your gingery features. Okay. We then move on to Aerys. He's saying the same thing. And then, of course, we have Chris saying, you know, Nicole needs to work on her self-worth. So that was what our conversation was about. And then Shaq, I don't know what he was saying. He was just saying something about Kirsten, but I didn't really pay attention. I didn't write none of that down. So there's that. Then we get to the girls. They go make cocktails. So after they make the cocktails, they sit down to talk. Nicole said, Chris is almost too respectful. No, Nicole, I feel like you're just used to douchebags. So now that you actually have a nice guy, so now you're self-sabotaging, like I was saying earlier, this review, and now saying he's too nice. No, maybe it's just you're just overwhelmed that you have someone that's actually not going to treat you like crap. So now it's just you're thinking in your head, okay, something must be wrong because he's being too nice. No, you're just used to douchebags, and you need to unlearn that comfortability of being with a douchebag and learn how to be in a normal esque relationship, I guess, quote unquote. So no, this is why I said therapy, because now this is the startings of self-sabotaging, even though you already been starting to self-sabotage your relationship. But saying stuff like this is in the works of self-sabotaging because you feel like it's too good to be true. So then in turn, you're going to ruin it. We move on then to Kirsten. She's ready for sex, but she wants Shaq to put the pause on her. She wants Shaq to be the one that initiates the sex. Okay, understandable. Because I feel like all girls want a guy to just rip her clothes off, like Jasmine said. And then we get to Gina. She said they need to work on the intimacy. Gina, ain't no intimacy y'all need to work on. You're just saying that to make it seem like you're interested, but we know you really not. Okay. Then we move on to Jasmine. We get to her breaking down about her situation. She gets emotional. She starts crying. We have Nicole saying, okay, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. This is a safe space. Is it though? Because she's crying. She's being vulnerable. She's explaining it. And y'all just, I feel like especially Gina and Kirsten, they just sitting there looking like deers caught in headlights. No one's showing her no type of empathy or like sympathy, going there to hug her, saying it's okay. Y'all just sitting there like, yeah, it's sad, or yeah, it's okay. That sucks. Yeah, yeah. So we're not gonna go hug her and be like, girl, at the end of the day, you know your worth. That's all that needs. We're not gonna give her no words of encouragement. We're not gonna go hug her and wipe her tears for her. Like, I just feel like, what y'all doing? Like, Jasmine, I don't know why you being vulnerable with these people because clearly they don't care. Okay, I'm sorry. Nicole seemed like she cared the most, and even she didn't really do nothing. But then again, I guess she don't really like to be touched anyway, so maybe that's why. But at the same time, I'm like, y'all just seem a little too cold for me. For someone who's crying and just opening up about their situation with their marriage, I just feel like they were just acting very too nonchalant about it. But I'm not there. Jasmine, if I was there, I would have hugged you. Okay, so I'm giving you a little air hug from here all the way over here, and listen, F Aerys, because at the end of this thing, he might try to holler at her name Kirsten, he might try to holler. But at the end of the day, he gonna go back to his cousin. The little hating ass cousin who she probably waiting at home. She's like, cause she already know ain't gonna work. So she just waiting until decision day so it could come on right back home to his little hating ass cousin. Okay. That was it. That was the end of the episode. We found out next week Devon Franklin gonna show up. This is what I be talking about. Like, it's about to be 12 days. This because we left off with 13 days. It's about to be 12 days until decision day. Now Devon Franklin want to bring his ass to give them some type of advice when they're already almost to the day and they already know they're gonna say no. I hope they all say no, to be honest with you. I hope they all say no, and then they intermingle and swap to who they really needed to be with on this season. I hope so, but I guess we'll see. Listen, I try to give it my all. I really do, but we getting to the point where we just need decision day to be here, please. We begging y'all. I'm begging y'all, please. I hope next week is the last episode before decision day, please. Anyways, that was it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you laughed at least once, please subscribe. If you didn't laugh, please come back next week. Hopefully I can make you laugh. And comment what you think about this episode and the fact that Devon Franklin gonna be back next week. Other than that, be easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. If I can find this red button. Peace.